And welcome back to Watches Tonight, the #1 live web show related to watches on YouTube.
Well, hello there. Hi. Welcome to the trading desk on Watchbox Studios. My name is Joshua Thanos, and this is my Lord and Savior, Jason Main. How you doing, bud?
I like that a little bit better.
The following brands realize that it's better to check yourself and raise your game than to wreck yourself and burn your reputation. Yoda has it right. Not in order, but he has it right. So Audemars Piguet, let's get started. The watch brand that truly turned it upside down and then turned it around. Too many offshore limited editions, too much dilution of the brand during the 2000s. We all remember it. Let's see where it started. Well, the first Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore limited edition was 1999's Royal Oak Offshore End of Days. Named for the Arnold Schwarzenegger film End of Days, which nearly ended Arnold's career even as the watch launched a decade-plus onslaught of Audemars Piguet limited editions. The watch was more memorable than the movie. Just take my word for it. Don't subject yourself. Seriously, though, there were offshores during this period that followed for true superstars like Arnold and Shaq, no doubt. There were important and memorable pieces, but also for relatively minor F1 drivers like Jarno Trulli, Sebastian Buemi, who barely wheeled a car with his super license, events few have heard of like the Tour Auto, and there were multiple Tour Autos, and statements of truly questionable taste like the 2008 insectoid Royal Oak Offshore Survivor. All of that, and there were plutocrat specials like the Pride of Argentina, Russia, and Mexico. So it didn't help that the last few arrived amid global economic upheaval when this kind of conspicuous consumption and over-the-top bombast was generally frowned upon. All of that changed in 2012 with new CEO François-Henri Bonamia. In 2012, he really began turning the ship around, realizing that less in its way would be more, and that includes the photo corruption. We're still getting the message across. So here's what happened. Fewer limited editions, more focus on the core Royal Oak and Royal Oak Offshore collections, and less outright production across the entire brand. All of this helped to right the ship and restore the luster of the Audemars Piguet nameplate. When AP does a Royal Oak Offshore limited edition today, it's for a true A-lister like LeBron James. Something that's truly worthwhile, memorable, rare, and exquisite. Not a 1,000-piece tribute to some guy who's barely an F1 test driver like we saw too many times during the 2000s. Today, AP is one of the strongest brands on the market, and the Royal Oak Offshore collection has become an object of increasing contempt in the late 2000s. Now, a rock and a pillar of the Le Brassus manufacture, not just righting the ship, but righting the ship and recovering full steam ahead with a bone in the teeth. AP truly has momentum. That is, aside from the dress watches, AP still has to show that it can build and sell dress watches, but Audemars is starting that journey from a position of robust strength thanks to prior reforms with the offshore limited editions. And I'll also say, bump, Rolex, uncompetitive clasps and bracelets. Between you and me and Geneva, you know it was true. The basic Rolex bracelet circa 2001 was behind the times even then. I dreamed of a Rolex sub 16610 in high school, but then I went to try one at Tourneau in the Roosevelt Field Mall. You Long Islanders, you know exactly what I'm speaking of. You probably know the spot in the mall too. And although it's great to get one of these for free in our giveaway, and I'm going to do that, I tried this instead back in 2001. Omega's clasp on the Bond SMP, the 2531 back then, felt like a piece of aerospace hardware compared to the tinsel-like Rolex Oyster clasp and hollow link bracelet. Seriously, that thing is tin foil. You could wrap your sandwich for lunch in that clasp. But I chose the Omega Diver 300 meter to blow my graduation money, and I never looked back. So here's what happened. Rolex came roaring back to the front of the industry, its customary position, with the Super Jubilee bracelet on the 2005 Datejust. This was the beginning of a hard charge that continues to this day. And an Oyster bracelet that same year, built like a battleship's anchor chain on the 2005 GMT Master. This was a total turnaround from where the company had been. This time, it was Rolex that never looked back. Today, Rolex Clasp internals are famously sophisticated with robust locking systems and micrometric adjustment devices built right in. The sophistication of a Rolex Clasp today is top of the market. They feel like a safe in a bank or the bar cages in Fort Knox itself. And I'll even mention that the Deep Sea, Rolex's hardest core sports watch, features the world's best diving clasp, bar none. Rolex going from an also-ran to pacing the field. That's how good a turnaround Rolex pulled off, and it continues to this day. Bracelet today is spelled Rolex.
And say you just wanted a regular, just a diver, right? And
straight to business.
Straight to business. Then you have something like this. It's Master Compressor. So this is the newer style, so you can see the difference between the bezels. This is like an update, right? So diving GMT. So you know, while you're 50 leagues under the ocean, you know what time it is in Asia.
Two times. So how does that work? Is that so like when you're diving underwater, if you cross
a time zone,
underwater?
That's right, Jason.
While you're strapped to a submarine.
Right. Yeah, it's very useful. This is a very useful complication.
It's like a moon phase
Everyone
on
needs
a dive
one of these.
watch. It makes so much sense.
Well, yeah. Who has a moon phase on a dive watch?
Blancpain. 50 fathoms.
Love Blancpain. Great brand. Super awesome. All right, so there you go. You can check it on the wrist too. So is this 44 millimeter? Yeah, 44 millimeter. So very much size like a Panerai. You have a very functional dive watch.
Flat on the wrist.
Very flat on the wrist.
It's gonna wear better than a 46 for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. And this is what something that's pretty it's specific to JLC, which is this articulated rubberized bracelet. So it's either steel or titanium covered and coated in this rubber. And then see this, let's see if we can get it. So you have screws. Every single link is removable, which I think is fantastic. I love when I see a watch that has all links removable. So you can move them around here and there. You don't have to worry about it. And then say if you scratch up like a screw or whatever, you could always take that link out, put another one in.
Yeah, that's true, especially with something like that with the coated links. If one takes damage, you know, you don't destroy the entire bracelet.
Think about the ASMR. Ooh. That bezel click, baby. Ooh. That's nice.
Sounds like you're trying to light a grill. That's what it
What if this thing just set on fire? All right. So here you go. So you have diving GMT, and again, a little bit more sporty, robust watch. And you can get, if you want a sport watch, you can have, very different, but all still very sporty watches here. You can see we have 4 of them there. Then if you want dress watches, they have that too.
Yeah.
Right? So what do we got over there, Jay?
This is something you guys may know. I don't know if you're going to really care about the most popular JLC that's on the table.
Is that what it is that you say it's most popular? Well, that one's white gold, yeah?
Yeah, so this is the Master Control thin.
Ultra thin, right?
Ultra thin in
Perpetual.
This one is white gold.
Yeah, which they make it in stainless
millimeter.
too, which is not always the best, but not in that dial.
Right. This dial is pretty cool. Special piece.
Ultimate dress watch, though.
Case back. Right? We should open that up.
Yeah, please. So, yeah, this is a watch. This is Dr. Strange, yeah?
Yep.
But his steel?
Here you go.
With a cracked crystal. So you see finished, well-finished movement.
At the end of that movie you didn't expect him to fix the watch with his magic?
Yeah, he should have.
I don't know what's going on there. But beautifully finished. You can see all the work, even underside. Really, really pretty movement.
Yeah, officer's case back.
That's a cool watch.
So this is the epitome of the dress watch for JLC, I would say, right?
I would venture to say, like, once you've bought a few things, you start looking in, and then you're like, oh, you know what I want is the calendar. Yeah. That's a cool piece.
Well, it's like a somewhat inexpensive perpetual counter. What's market price on this?
$18,000 or so.
So for less than $20,000, you can get a white gold perpetual calendar. Can you set this forward and backwards? No, right?
I would probably say not, since it's an older movement.
And it only has one pusher, so everything else is set by the crown, which is nice. And it's very sturdy. We all, like, for buying and selling watches for a living, we know which watches usually when they come in, we're like, oh, that watch is probably broken. This is not one of them. Like Perpetual calendars, there's other brands, and when we get them, like, we just assume it's going to need a service because it's broken.
Right.
JLC Ultra Thin Master calendars here, they tend to always be working, which is nice. That's always a plus, especially when you have a perpetual calendar, because the cost is going to be usually pretty serious, and the time to fix a perpetual calendar is always like 6 months or so. It's crazy.
JLC service is pretty reasonable, and then on top of that too, the movements, even though it's like a dressier kind of they're not dainty.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a dressier watch, but it's still built with the same kind of robustness of a sport watch, I would say.
Yeah, automatic perpetual counter. It's nice. Officer's case back. It's nice. It's a reasonable watch, right? It's nothing crazy. And in white gold, you have a little bit of, what do they say? It's the look of stainless steel without
The stigma.
the stigma of low cost, right? So, yeah, but they do make
Low
that.
cost is the politically correct way
So the
of saying that, yeah.
so they make that watch in stainless steel too, and you're probably going to pay about half that, right?
Yeah, I would venture to say.
Yeah.
Although
So
the white gold is it's something on the wrist. It's
oh,
nice.
yeah, it's nice. You have a little bit more presence.